รับเข้าสู่สมัชชาสหภาพคนตาบอดโลกภาคพื้นเอเชียแปซิฟิกเป็นการไลฟ์สดผ่าน Facebook Fanpage สมาคมคนตาบอดแห่งประเทศไทยวันนี้เป็นวันที่2ของการจัดงานแล้วนะครับขอเสียงปรบมือให้กับท่านผู้ชมทางบ้านด้วยครับ
So good morning everyone on Facebook. So please give them a round of applause to welcome them as well. Yeah. Okay. So maybe a little bit delay.
โอ้สองครั้งเลยนะ2ครั้งเลยนะครับโอเคบอกท่านผู้ชมทางบ้านอีกทีนะครับเมื่อสักครู่นี้พูดในห้องดวงชนกที่ดวงจิตรีสอร์ทแอนด์สปาไปแล้วนะครับในวันอังคารนี้วันอังคารที่28พฤศจิกายนนะครับในเซสชันแรกที่เราจะได้ไลฟ์สู่ทางบ้านในวันนี้เรามีเซสชันเดียวก็คือ 9 นาฬิกาถึง 10 นาฬิกา 30 นาทีเป็นเรื่องของการอภิปรายกลุ่มนะครับในหัวข้อการจัดการองค์กรของคนพิการทางการเห็นในภูมิภาคเอเชียแปซิฟิกแน่นอนว่าวิทยากรมากมายหลายท่านเลยทีเดียวนะครับก็ไม่ว่าจะเป็นจากทางด้านของประเทศญี่ปุ่นนะครับจากอินโดนีเซียนะครับแล้วก็มีวันนี้มีผู้ดำเนินรายการก็คือดร.นันทนุชสุวรรณวุฒิซึ่งอีกสักครู่หนึ่งก็จะขึ้นเวทีพร้อมด้วยวิทยากรอีก3ท่านด้วยกับหัวข้อนี้นะครับ
And for information for those on Facebook Live, that today, this morning, we're going to have a panel discussion under the topic of organization management of the blind in Asia Pacific, which the moderator will be Dr. Nantanut Suwarnawut from TAB, and we also have speakers from Japan and Indonesia.
ก่อนที่เราจะเรียนเชิญวิทยากรทั้งหมดขึ้นบนเวทีผมขออนุญาตประชาสัมพันธ์กิจกรรมสำหรับเย็นนี้นะครับซึ่งเราจะมีงานกาล่าดินเนอร์ประตูจะเปิดตั้งแต่เวลา 18:30 นาทีนะครับก็จะเป็นการมารับประทานอาหารเย็นร่วมกันซึ่งเป็นประมาณปาร์ตี้นะครับสนุกแล้วก็จะมีวงดนตรีจาก S2S ด้วยนะครับมาบรรเลงแล้วก็มอบความสุขความสำราญให้กับทุกท่านมีอาหารการกินให้รับประทานพอสมควรนะครับแล้วก็ได้มาดื่มกินได้มาสนุกสนานกันไหนๆเราก็มาอยู่กันที่ภูเก็ตแห่งนี้แล้วนะครับสมัชชาสหภาพคนตาบอดโลกภาคพื้นเอเชียแปซิฟิกก็4ปีเราพบกัน1ครั้งก็ใครจะไปรู้ว่าอีก4ปีข้างหน้าเราจะไปเจอกันที่ไหนนะครับอีกนานๆกว่าเราจะมาเจอกันที่ประเทศไทยเพราะฉะนั้นวันนี้ก็แต่งตัวลงมาอย่างเต็มรูปแบบเลยทีเดียวนะครับเต็มรูปแบบก็เป็นแบบเราให้ธีมอะไรนะประมาณพื้นเมืองอะไรเงี้ยนะครับก็แต่ว่าสุดแล้วแต่ท่านผู้ฟังท่านผู้มีเกียรตินะท่านผู้เข้าร่วมนะวันนี้สำหรับงานกาล่าดินเนอร์เราจะไลฟ์ในช่วงแรกนะครับในช่วงแรกช่วงพิธีเปิดแล้วก็ช่วงโชว์นะครับเพื่อที่จะให้ท่านผู้ชมทางบ้านได้รับรู้รับชมรับทราบกิจกรรมกาล่าดินเนอร์ของเราในค่ำคืนนี้ด้วยนะครับ
Yes, may I give a little bit of more information about the panel discussion first? That our speaker, sorry, that is first one is from Japan, and the second one is from Hong Kong, Carbon Climate InnoLab, and the last one will be the co-chairperson of PDF. Yeah, so and Dr. Nantanut will introduce them later, more later during the discussion, and during tonight, this evening, we're going to have a gala dinner at 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock in this room. 6:30? Oh, sorry, it's 6:30 in this room. So enjoy yourself. You know, outside we have the Babayaya, is the shop that you can rent your dress, you know, just for, you know, when you come here and then you dress as a local, you know, it's a traditional dress. You can enjoy yourself by renting just like 500 baht each, and then you'll get the outfit for tonight, and as well as the jewelry that, you know, you dress along. And so, or if you have any national dress that you would like to, you know, to wear and share with other friends, then you can wear your national dress as well. And tonight we're going to have the live Facebook during the opening ceremony, and just a short while, and then later, we're going to, you know, stop the live because it's only during the opening ceremony. Just for those in Facebook fan page to have a glimpse what we have here at Duangjitt Resort and Spa.
สำหรับคนไทยนะคุณอิสวราชอาจจะยังพอเราพูดแบบนี้แล้วอยากจะทราบหรือว่าอยากจะใส่เพราะว่ามันจริงๆมันจะมีร้านของชุดบ้าบ่ายะหยามาอยู่ที่นี่ด้วยใช่ไหมครับ
ใช่ค่ะเป็นร้านเช่าค่ะ
เป็นการเช่านะชุดละ
500
บาท
เท่านั้นนะคะเขาบอกว่าธรรมดาเขา1,200นะคะ
นี่เราไม่ได้ค่าโฆษณาเลยนะ
ใช่ค่ะจริงๆเราต้องโฆษณานิดนึง
นี่ขนาดเรายังต้องไปเช่าเลย ที่จะใส่คืนนี้เพราะฉะนั้นชุดบ้าบ่ายะหยาเนี่ยมันจะเป็นชุดประจำของเนี่ยแถวภูเก็ตแถวนี้เนาะท้องถิ่นแถวนี้นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นใครสนใจเนี่ยที่จะลองใส่มาในงานกาล่าดินเนอร์ในคืนนี้นะมันจะได้ดูแบบมีสีสันเนาะ
สาวๆหนุ่มๆพลาดไม่ได้เลยนะคะ
ครับเดี๋ยวรอวิทยากรอีกท่านหนึ่งนะครับก็ยังจะอยู่นะร้านยังจะอยู่นะ
ค่ะ
ร้านยังจะอยู่นะครับเวทีพร้อม
โอเค
คนฟังละพร้อมไหมไหนขอเสียงปรบมือหน่อย
Are you ready? Please give a round of applause. Yes.
โอเคเราก็พร้อมท่านผู้ชมทางบ้านก็พร้อมนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นหัวข้อที่ผมได้เรียนไว้เมื่อสักครู่นี้นะครับก็เป็นเรื่องของการอภิปรายในหัวข้อการจัดการองค์กรของคนพิการทางการเห็นในภูมิภาคเอเชียแปซิฟิกเราขอเรียนเชิญท่านผู้ดำเนินรายการนะครับดร.นันทนุช สุวรรณวุฒินะครับจากสมาคมคนตาบอดแห่งประเทศไทยขึ้นเวทีพร้อมด้วยวิทยากรทั้ง3ท่านครับ
So may I invite Dr. Nantanut Suwarnawut, our moderator for the organization management of the blind in Asia Pacific. Please proceed to the stage as well as the 3 speakers.
ขอเสียงปรบมือให้ด้วยครับ
Please give a round of applause.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Nantanut Suwarnawut, or Apple, and I'm very honored to be the moderator today of the topic under the topic of organization management of the blind in Asia and the Pacific. Okay, so the reason that we, as the board, picking up this topic because the management, especially for the organization for and with person with disabilities, is very important. And we want to build the capacity to empower the disabled or the blind from the grassroots level. And that requires lots of expertise, lots of the skills. And 3 skills that we pick up today is about the leadership. Of course, if you talk about disability issues, this is very, very crucial, especially if you're dealing with the young leaders. And today we are very honored to get a speaker who is very fluent and very, very expert and has long time experience in this area. And the second issue is about the fundraising. Of course, if you are running activities, right, especially if you don't get a regular support from like the government or somewhere else, this is very important as well. And the last issue is about community outreach. Okay, nowadays, information is gathered all around, right? And it's very essential that we need to expand the word and to support our activities. So these 3 topics, these 3 subtopics are the things that we are going to discuss today. And now, as our MCs already mentioned, we have 3 honorable speakers from the 3 different countries with us here. So may I invite first Mr. Chong Xiaoyang, the Chief Executive Officer at the CarbonCare InnoLab from Hong Kong. And second, Miss Miyo Ito of the Association for AIDS for the Relief from Japan. And our last speaker today is Mr. Alatao Talaki, the co-chairperson of the Pacific Disability Forum or PDF from New Zealand. Well, so now all three speakers are here on the stage already. So may I briefly introduce each speakers. Okay, first let's start by lady first, okay? From Japan, Miss Miyo Ito. Okay, Miss Miyo Ito is the certified fundraiser and the CSR expert, and she is the public and the corporate relationship charity Good for Goods and for the Association of AIDS for Relief or AAR. And she has been working here quite over like 27 years. We've been like very long time ago as a supporter resources. And she also engaged in the numerous projects and the events, including the charity concerts and the seminars, fundraising, campaigns, etc. And she's also been the source of ideas for an array of the charity gathering. And she also has successful established firm relationships with the supporters, individuals, and the corporate partners. Okay, next, Mr. Shang Yao. Okay, and actually I've been knowing him like for many, many years. Okay, and Mr. Chang Xiaoyang, Chang Yao Chong. He is the chairman of the Dialogue in the Dark and the HK Foundation, the co-founder of the and the CEO of the CarbonCare InnoLab, and the member of the board of the directors of the Climate Finance Asia. And he has been getting many awards, right? And he's graduated from the UK in the information system. And okay, and the awards that he's been getting is like the Poverty Alleviation Award from the China Foundation for the Poverty Alleviation in 2004. And so many awards that you've been getting. Okay, and the last speaker is Mr. Alatao, okay, from the New Zealand. And he's a vice chair of the Blind Citizens Association New Zealand at Auckland branch, and a life member of this association as well. And he was a member of the National Leadership Group set up in 2013 and to advise the Minister of the Disability Inclusive Disability Issues. Okay, and so many, he got the partnership with the government and the disability community by using the enabling good lives approach. So now today that we are going to see how he can get many small organizations, especially in the Pacific Island. So please welcome all of the three speakers. Please give him a round of applause. Well, now, so we have approximately 1 hour and now just 15 minutes now. So I'm going to divide the questions into 2 parts, okay? Each part, maybe you have 10 minutes. For the first, and then I'm going to open the floor for questions, Q&A, okay? So let's start by, because since the theme of our midterm General Assembly is about networking to community information and life, so how do you think organizations for and of the blind people could help to create connections within the community to information and life? And also, maybe the next one, you can just combine or pick up each question, okay? So a key role organizations of and for the blind in our organizations is advocacy, right? So what are some of the current opportunities and increase advocacy or any barriers or the threat? So you can just answer this within 10 minutes. So who shall I start? So the lady first. So Miss Ito. So yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. It's my honor to be in this place, and thank you for joining this session. And as for question number 1, how to communicate with the blind people. Oh, okay, I'm a sighted person, and I didn't have any chance to communicate with blind people until one of my colleagues, who's now joining this session with me, joined to our organization. And I really found many things that I haven't noticed before I met him. So it's really important, I think, to have many opportunities as possible to communicate with sighted people and blind people. So our organization is planning many events to communicate with blind people. For example, we invite students, like juniors high school or high school students, to come to our office and communicate with my colleague, Mr. Tamaru, who is blind, and listen to his story, and then they find out many things that they haven't noticed before, how the blind people need help, or how the blind people is comfortable when they walk on the street or when they get on the train or anything. So I really recommend you to make many opportunity with the sighted people. Thank you.
Hello, okay. Thank you so much. And so you got your friend as a blind friend, right? So that you started your work in this area with your friend. And so as you can, your experience, long time experience as the public relationships, well, so do you think nowadays the opportunities of these have more or less, or is there any barriers, or what is going to create barriers to get to communicate to this group of people?
Are you asking to me or other panelists? Me? Okay. Well, in Japan, there's very few opportunities to communicate with blind people because when you enter into elementary school, like there's no blind kids to study with us, and I really think the school should integrate people, students with disabilities, and then we'll get used to people with disabilities and find out what they need and can support them naturally. Yes, I think the school should be changed.
Okay. And since you are the fundraising expert, right? So do you have any tricks, or do you think it's the good time for us after the COVID to raise money now? Yeah. So maybe I will just ask you for the next round, okay? Maybe you can just prepare it's as the fundraising expert. Is there any opportunities or more opportunities for us, like the situation after the pandemic? Yes.
Yes. Well, after the pandemic, we couldn't do events, face-to-face events, but instead we started online events, and we connected with the students online, and had many fruitful discussions. So online event is very useful, even after the pandemic, to yes,
Okay.
to make opportunities for them to know about disabilities. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Next move to Mr. Chang Yao. I think you are ready to answer now. Okay. So just please, as I'm still sticking to the same question, right? Do you think organizations of and for the blind can help to create connections within the community, especially you are expert to talk in terms of the leadership? Okay, please.
Thank you very much. So it's a pleasure to take part in this panel discussion. So thank you, Apple, very much. But before answering the question, I want to give a little bit more background about myself. So because Apple is so familiar with me, so she didn't mention anything about my work in the Organization of the Blind. I actually was the president of the Hong Kong Blind Union for many years. And then I was actually the vice president of the World Blind Union Asia Pacific region in 2088 to 1996. And also, I think, last 4 years or so. So I just stepped down in 2020. Okay, so I no longer, I also retired from the committee of the Hong Kong Blind Union this July. That's why I didn't put the title there. So Organization of the Blind is a place that I grew up. And so Apple's question is about what are the advocacy issues that we face nowadays, and what are any common issues that are faced by Organization of the Blind and organizations for the blind. So sometimes, yes, we are being misled by many services nowadays available, and therefore, what are the discriminations that blind people face? Do they still face discrimination? They are being given better welfare, better services than before. Should we just ask for more services? So my question is no. We are still facing a lot of discriminations. Our rights are not fully realized, especially in the area of employment. Yeah, I am very sad to find out that many talented blind persons keep on studying, you know. So education is an area that we face less obstacles. But when you come to employment, people still ask, can you do the same as others? Are you less productive? Do we need to give you more support? So I think employment is still a big area anywhere in the world. Last year, in the World Blind Union, I was on a committee on employment opportunities. We conducted a worldwide employment study. Unfortunately, we collect more questionnaires from more industrial societies. In developing countries, this is even more serious. The employment rate, the epidemics that will be during the COVID-19, it was even more serious. Okay, so what are the opportunities? Now it's post COVID-19. We have a better home working environment and culture. So we need to advocate for more abilities, more self-reliance among blind persons, more technological support. And the employment should be seen as more flexible. So we need to either convince the employer or create our own job opportunities. So I hope this is one big area. IT, we talked about yesterday a lot. That's another area. Changing attitudes. Yes, you can say some people have changed, but we still have a battle. We still go out in the streets facing people who don't know how to work with blind people, walk with blind people, understand their abilities. I still don't want, I know when in advocacy, especially, let me say this, especially organizations for the blind, and sometimes even some organization of the blind, we want to present blind people as victims, and therefore you should do more. So that's not the advocacy we support. We should still continue to present a positive image. We are able, we need opportunities. We are not begging for sympathy or support because of blindness. We are asking for our citizens' rights to be realized. So I hope organizations of the blind and for the blind alike keep this in your mission and values. So sorry, I'm too long, Apple.
No. You just still have time. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to forget to introduce you at the beginning because we've been friends for a long time. And okay, you mentioned several skills, right, that require nowadays, and also many various factors like employment technologies that as the leaders, right, like working in the organizations that require all of these skills. And for the last speaker, Mr. Latour, so because I don't know you that much, can you please briefly introduce yourself as the co-founder of the PDF? I think we have some of you might know about the forum here in Pacific. So, but since in the Pacific have small scattered island, right? So we would like to know about, and especially in terms of the capacity building to the organization. So what do you think that the organization like us, for and off the by, can have some connection, create any opportunity, or like how important to this one, especially in terms of community outreach. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Esteemed panelists and our moderator, thank you for introducing me. And Sawadika, one and all. Warm Pacific greetings. Bulavinaka from Fiji. Kia ora from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Whakalofalahiatu from my own island, Niue. In my capacity as the co-chair of the Pacific Disability Forum, I am honoured and happy to bring the silent P of Asia Pacific. The Pacific voices have not often been heard in these forums. So I'm happy to be here representing over 20 countries across the small island countries across the Pacific. You refer to it sometimes as Oceania. But in this time and age, we see Oceania as the blue continent. The future for our sustainability in the Pacific is the resources in our Pacific oceans, the blue continent, and preserving it in times of climate change, challenges of pollution is important. So the issues of climate change in the Pacific affects disability, as well as what has been shared about opportunities to develop, opportunities to work, opportunities to live independently in the community. So these are important for all of us in the Pacific, but especially I bring those issues for us to share here. My involvement as a person, I am partially blind or low vision, and that happened when I was 15. Playing rugby, the sport that is very popular in New Zealand. That caused a retinal detachment, and my vision loss meant I couldn't go back to school where I was attending high school. So I ended up being in a residential boarding school, and I like to acknowledge my ex-friends from the School for the Blind, Homai, and my partner who I met there and later married. So Tiawai is my partner and she's here today. And of course, Thomas will be moderating the afternoon session, which I hope you'll come to. that's community outreach. But may I add to the voices of those panelists who spoke before me about opportunities for attitudes to be changed and connections from one person to the other, partnerships that occur from that, and ongoing work to lead and get a better life is a normal human endeavor for all of us. So I would like to acknowledge the partnerships, husbands and wives, partners who have created a vision to make a difference. And I hope Mr. and Mrs. Wong are here because they are two connections that I made in one of these forums, and I know they do fantastic work for blind and low vision people in their own country and around the Pacific. So I acknowledge you. Here, we have the opportunity to exchange information on our experiences. So information leads to knowledge. Knowledge leads to power. Knowledge is power. So in our work, we need to empower each other, empower those who are blind and low vision to lead good lives and lead a better futures for themselves, not just wait for a charity. And I acknowledge what has been said. We are often, back in the Pacific, seen as objects of pity, and those attitudes are deep in the cultures that we have. So we have work to do in amongst our own cultures and also within our own communities. As people who are blind and also with disabilities, we have the opportunity to show by being a good role model that we don't need to wait for charity. We can help ourselves, and we want the opportunities to help ourselves and each other. So I thank you for the opportunity to be here. Over 40 years of work in the blindness field, 20 years working as a welfare officer for residential clients and people living in a city environment in Auckland. I've learned a lot along the way. And in the last 20 years, with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, our convention, I've learned that we can reach out beyond blindness, but reach out to other disabilities. So we have solidarity in our messages going out. So our vision statement should be, as stated yesterday, our message that we take out to our own communities. And if we know our vision, then we know how to set about creating the strategies to achieve the vision statement. So if we share that, then that's a great achievement for us all. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Of course, it's echo the importance of connectivity, information, right? I really like it. Knowledge is a power. And also to use as the role model to demonstrate to other people. I think it's very good, and I think it's for maybe some of other organizations trying to portray this to the public. And okay, so well now we getting to know more of the subtopic, right, about the leadership, fundraising, and all the community outreach. So now my second round of questions is I want to know about what is your belief in organizations or what is your belief organizations in the Asia Pacific region can support each other to build capacity in advocacy, leadership, financial sustainability? Or can you please give any example of any successful regional collaborations which have benefited organizations in our region? And how can organizations in your region, or maybe just stop here? I think there are plenty to talk. Miss Ito-san, so well, as the experience in fundraising, okay, of course, this is very, as you mentioned, that it might be difficult in this period. But is still there any opportunity that the organization like us in the Asia and Pacific can support each other, can help to fundraising, or just to share? Like as Mr. Latol said, that now we not only focusing on the blindness, we should come together as across disabilities. So this issue, is there any significance to the fundraising strategies, or you can share your work, your projects in Japan that be beneficial in this for us as well? Yes, please.
Okay. Well, our organization has offices in 16 countries, and one of our offices in Myanmar. And there's a good practice that I can introduce you. We are supporting people with disabilities in Yangon, and we have many networks with local NGOs. And we've made a guidebook for companies to employ people with disabilities together with the local NGOs. And we made a forum, and the government of Myanmar really appreciated at the time. It was before the political change has happened. It was 2018 or so. And many companies appreciated the guidebook, and they tried to, they used it to employ the people with disabilities. So that kind of cooperation will be a good example for you. Hope so.
Okay, so you said in how many countries that your organization?
We are working now in 16 countries.
Wow, 16 countries. Okay, and including Thailand, right?
We don't have office in Thailand.
Oh, you don't? Maybe you can start thinking to have to extend the office here, expand. Okay, and do you think the organization, the blind organization, can benefit, or is there any activities nowadays that we can raise money? Like just now, you are the chair to conduct the concert, right? This is one activities that can raise money. Is there any interesting or any trick that we can get, can ask for the money? Yeah.
Another example, you said?
Yes. Maybe you can provide more examples like of the fundraising. And is there any, and also for each strategies, is there any like the trick or anything that can, maybe you can just give any projects, yeah.
Well, another example is it's in Cambodia. We're organizing a forum to study about inclusive education with local NGOs. And every year, like 150 people join to study about and learn about this present situation of inclusive education in Cambodia. There are many people with disabilities or organizations or government or UN people gather, and we exchange opinions and have discussions to pursue for inclusive society. And I think it's important to make that kind of forum every year, and together with the local NGOs, we can make the situation better. That's what we are trying to do. Yes, that will be another example. I don't know if I'm answering your question properly.
Yes, you do. And so you are suggesting us that in order to raise money, first people need to understand, right? What is the real problem? What is the need, right? And like you just gave an example about inclusive education. So people need to understand what is it, right? And so they can be informed and to talk to other people. Okay. Well, okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
And so let's move to Mr. Shang Yao. So do you think that the organizations like Thailand and Hong Kong can collaborate or share, or is there any opportunity to build capacity building together in advocacy under the leadership? Yes.
Yeah, there can be many possibilities. For example, nowadays, webinar is very easy to organize and not very costly. So I think if the World Blind Union Asia Pacific region or any organizations here can organize more webinar. For example, in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Blind Union organized 2 to 3 webinar in the past. I think we should continue, but sometimes we do things and then we stop. We did one on accessibility, featuring HSBC and other banks. Microsoft came in. And then we did another one on, I think, employment. So I think this effort can be continued. That's number one. Number two, examples, best practice, case studies. These are always very good. So share more information. I think the East Win is a good channel, but we also can use other channels to share experience. In terms of funding, I think BO made a very good example about international assistance. I think training opportunities can also be organized. Technology. Yesterday, I talked about the Smart City Walk that Hong Kong Blind Union started. We have already well tested it. We have 150 locations in Hong Kong on the web. I have also done a podcast with the Thai Association's podcast. What is the name of your podcast? Is it still continuing?
Yes, it's still continuing.
Oh, okay. So Apple said I was one of the first, so thank you. So that can be introduced. We can actually, after the trial in Singapore, I think the web may be able to be launched regionally. Yeah, every country we will input different indoors facilities, but the app can be the same. It's in English. It has a sighted map as well as a descriptive map for the blind. So it can be used by ordinary people, so not just by blind people. I know there are many more other areas that we can collaborate on resources. But what are the obstacles? Why are they not happening more often? I think if we want something to happen, we need to know the obstacles and then try to overcome them. And one obstacle is that all organizations are very busy with their own community work. So that's one. We don't have enough organizations that have a special regional project, regional budget, regional staff. Okay, so maybe my advice to some of the more resourceful organizations in this region, including my own, to think about setting up a regional unit or international unit. If you don't have specialized people, then people treat it as part-time and they don't pay much attention to it. Okay, like meals organization, they have specialized work to develop training and employment opportunities in less resourceful communities. So I think that should be encouraged. Even in the case of Hong Kong, like Society for the Blind is much richer than us, so you can think about setting up an international work. The other obstacle is maybe language. Language used to be a bigger obstacle, but nowadays more people learn English, and I think English is a common language among the region, is a language of communication in Southeast Asian, the ASEAN organization. So I think it's better than before. But technology can also help. I know that nowadays you have translators. When I was in Japan in a hotel, the waitress just put an iPhone to my ear and explained the menu and then asked me what I want to order. So I was very surprised. Suddenly an iPhone sounded in my ear. And then the person was standing before me. So, but I think it can be worked. We should not allow the language barrier to limit our collaboration and communications. So I think I'll stop here. There are many other interesting things that are happening in the region, like the Thailand International Music Festival. I haven't even come before. I will try. Or the Braille competition. All these things are very good. So we should have more of these kind of things. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So there are many examples that we can just simplify, right? And to collaborate in the region. And especially under the leadership and in any areas like technologies, literacy, right? Okay, and well, Mr. Lator, so in terms of the using the community outreach, so what do you think is have importance and how can collaborate or to use this one in our region to support each other?
Thank you, moderator. Let me share my experience over the past 20 years in the Pacific Disability Forum as one of the co-founders of that organization from humble beginnings in 2002, where we were just a loose network of concerned individuals and leaders around the Pacific, getting together and sharing our concerns, our dreams, and our hopes. And from that came the dream to set up a regional Pacific Disability Forum body in 2002. And that is about 2 decades after the proclamation of disabled persons that the United Nations proclaimed in 1983. So we had to have a dream that everybody shared, leadership that drove the passion, motivation of individual disabled people. Blind people led the way. Women with disabilities also led the way. In fact, when we came together in Fiji, we came under another reason to take part in a workshop that the International Labour Organization was running, focusing on issues that affect disabled women in the Pacific. So the side event became the place that we went and dreamt and talked together, and from there grew the dream to have a Pacific Disability Forum. And within 2 years, from 2002 to 2004, we had worked out our common vision to drive us and unite us all together. So the outreach from that context was to send the message of the dream, the vision, out to the remote islands through the disabled leaders who were there. So within 4 years, we came together and put together the first strategic plan with a vision in 2004. Now, by that time, we had the BWACO framework in place, but Pacific was not included. There were no voices there. So the community outreach was to form a network, transition it into an organization, a legal organization registered under Fiji law. Having a legal body means that you are no longer speaking as separate entities, but together, united. So I'm guessing I'm trying to sell you the Pacific as an example, a good example of how an organization can start, and it doesn't have to be just an organization for and of the blind. We tried that in 1992. For 3 years, we tried to form the first Pacific Council for Blind Persons. That unfortunately fell over after 2 years because the Pacific context is such that small populations, hard to find blind people in large numbers. So the same leaders that got together in 1992 also came together in 2002 and had this dream to have a Pacific Disability Forum, a pan-Pacific, that's a pan-disability organization. And the organizations of blind persons were part of that. So we looked at reaching out not just to the blind community, our community, but beyond to other disabilities, other impairments, Indigenous people. So our dream was to have an inclusive organization that dream has driven us, and now we're in our fifth strategic plan. We have a partnership secure with two bodies, two governments, Australia government, disability funds that's the DFAT, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, New Zealand. So it was a partnership. So can I just summarize by saying that when we build a dream, an organization from a network, and focus on inclusion to start with, that can bring aboard all types of support from other areas. We were fortunate that we focused on women first, and women have always been the leaders in the Pacific Disability Forum. There are more women in our board than men, and there always has been. We have Indigenous people on our membership, and we also have all types of impairments. Now, our approach was to look at funding. So donors weren't people that you go for and ask for money. You go for and ask for a partnership. That partnership means that they walk along with you and carry the risks, understanding as you develop. So in the past 20 years, the Pacific Disability Forum has created partnerships with our two major donors, the Australian government and New Zealand government. And that has enabled us to grow more blindness organizations. We started off with only 2 or 3. Now we have 6 organizations of blind persons in the various Pacific countries, as well as other disability groups, deaf and blind, 2 organizations, acknowledging that Australia and New Zealand started off intellectual disability organizations, as well as the mental health psychosocial organizations, and the deaf communities are also on board. So we have an inclusive cross-disability membership, but we take our donors on and build partnerships with them, and not just look at them as donors that give money and don't have any investment in growing together. So hopefully that gives you a summary of how the success of the Pacific Disability Forum has been in the last 2 decades. Thank you.
Wow. You have like 40 years experiences with lots of examples. And well, now it's time for you to have for any questions, comments, or anything that we'd like to share under this topic. So please, who would like to go first? Just a moment. And could you please tell your name, your country, or an organization? So yes, so that we can know. Yes.
Thank you very much. This is Billy Wong from Hong Kong Blind Union. So I'm the successor of Mr. Chong Chen Yao. I'm the current president of the Hong Kong Blind Union. The panelists has suggested that we have to present a positive, able image to the general public, telling them that what we need is opportunity. We are trying our best to change the attitude of the society towards the blind, towards the visually impaired. This is very inspiring, but I would like to see from another perspective. when we're trying to communicate with the society, with the general public, can the panelists share their views on the issue that what kind of attitude they think which is the most important, which deserves the highest priority for the visually impaired to make ourselves able to present that positive image? How can we, what's a kind of attitude that we have to have in order to establish a positive case that shows to the general public? Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much. This is like a long discussion about the creating, raising awareness, right, and positive attitudes in the society. So who would like to take this one? You?
Well, I try not to be the first because he's my colleague. So, but Apple prompted me, so I.
Okay, so Ms. Lato?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be
Mr. Lato,
first
yes.
off the rank.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think in my experience, the building leadership, good leadership and role models of good leaders is the first priority, but that needs an investment in terms of education system. So beginning early is the first priority so that future generations of people that grow to be adults with set attitudes, they get to understand that blind people can lead good lives. Blind people have the same aspirations to do well in education. From there, you break down the attitudes when they get to become full citizens in their own rights, so that young disabled people going through education now, you have to look at a whole generation of growing a society that is inclusive and has attitudes that's more positive than the traditional attitudes that we've grown up in. So I think investment in early education, inclusive education, and also breaking down the attitudes and raising awareness at a young age. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Ito-san.
Yes, okay. I really agree with your opinion. It's very important to know each other at early ages. I really do think so. And as for attitude of sighted people, I really recommend to know each other, take many chances possible to get to know the blind people. Yeah, thanks to Tamaru-san, I really I found out how blind people need help sometimes, but at the same time, he can do a lot of things by himself. So you have to know when to support and when to leave, and that's the distance to support the blind people. You get to know by practice, I think. So, well, I took an airplane with him to go all the way from Tokyo to Phuket, and many people supported Tamaru-san, and that's a very good thing. But at the same time, he can do a lot of things by himself. And I learned that I shouldn't help him too much, but at the same time, I need to support them when he needs. So I want many sighted people to learn more about that things through practice.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, get to know more, right? Okay. Okay, is there more questions?
Okay.
So,
no, I haven't responded yet.
okay, please.
You forget about me,
Okay.
even though I am sitting next to you. Okay. Well, it's very difficult to say what is the most important thing. But I would point to this, is the helper-helpee relationship. So Mio was talking about the right thing. So the attitude is that blind people are not always in help. And I almost want to say many blind people do not want to change. So maybe it's, while we say we change society, we probably need to change blind people first, because they are accustomed to it. They grew up being educated about their role. Whenever a blind person meets a sighted person, the first question, what do you want me to help you? So we didn't talk about music, we didn't talk about literature, we didn't talk about what are your favorite things to do and talents and so on. We talk about what your help can be and what kind of help you need. So I think these kind of relationship we need to change. So I'm very happy that when I was on the street, some people suddenly stopped me and asked me about, oh, do you know where McDonald's is? And then because he didn't see that I was blind. So when he see that, oh, I'm sorry. So I said, oh, no, I cannot answer your question, you know. So I think I would, because the more you become a service target, the less they would trust you in employment, okay? So that's a very important thing. So show people your abilities before you convince, and then you can convince them to give up their discrimination. And that's it. That's very important. Another thing is there is also becoming a very tacit discrimination. What do I mean by tacit discrimination? That's the second important thing. People say, oh, I always trust blind people, you know. I think you are very good. You are very, very able. But you cannot work in my environment because my environment, my office is very different. So there is, we meet a lot of this kind of, oh, we respect you. Blind people should be respected. We should always care for them. But can I work in your organization? Oh, no, my organization is very difficult, you know. So we should not take this kind of nice talk as if it represents acceptance. Acceptance means responsibilities, means share partnership. It does not mean that you are told to appreciate others, and even though they pretend to appreciate you. So learn to distinguish, to earn respectful acceptance, not acceptance in words, in nice words. Thank you.
Wow. So it's the responsibility, right? Not the kind words or anything that we don't like. And as we have to change, so just to create as Miss Mio said, that we have to get to know people and we can have to go out at the same time. We have to be as the role model to the society. I think actually sometimes we don't really need to do anything. Just try to get out and to dare to go to the society. Okay. And is there any questions? Yes, please.
Good morning, Apple. This is Michiko Tabata from Japan.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
morning.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I was actually a little bit reluctant to raise the hand because, in fact, I'm also a board member of the organization that Mio-san is working for. And I was also the one who linked her to this event. So I was a little reluctant, but nevertheless, I thought I should raise my hand because I introduced her to the assembly on grounds of her expertise in public relations and fundraising. So when you talk about the attitudes of the general public, perhaps she might have some experiences on the editorial trends of the general public when releasing projects on the disability-related issues or even others, because AAR Japan has a number of other projects like emergency reliefs and refugee reliefs and responses to infectious diseases, etc. So, Mio-san, if you have any experiences and some trends on the general public, I think that will, if you can share that with us, then that will give some hints for the blind audiences in this hall. So if you have that, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for introducing Mio-san to us today. And so, Mio-san, can you please just give just a little bit of example? Because the session after the break this morning would be the breakout rooms for these 3 different topics. Okay, then you can just dig down into details, so that you can talk freely and share examples, exchange information from each country. So, but now just to give you just a glimpse and just introductory session, okay? Okay, Miss Mio-san, can just a little bit, just as an introduction to PR your session, okay, after this. I mean, the Michiko-san would like you to give some of example.
Some introduction. Some promotion.
So, thank you, Michiko-san, to have give me a chance to introduce about my session from 11 a.m. Yes, I'm going to talk about fundraising. And fundraising is not just collecting money. It's gaining a trust from your supporters and have a good relationship and make them become your organization's fan. And I'm going to tell you a lot of our works to gain their trust. And I hope my knowledge will be of help to your organization. Thank you. Please come to my session at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Maybe that can create some, stimulate some of us that would like to know more, getting into more on the topic. Actually, I would like to keep my last question asking everyone to PR their session after this. But anyway, so next one, Senator Montian, please.
Thank you, Dr. Apple. I do have one question for Chanyeol, my dear friend. This is going to be very hard to swallow for us in the Asia Pacific. I am of the firm believer in the right to even refuse good intention or sympathy or even force help. When I go to public places, people offer me to use elevator. Of course, I have been campaigning for elevators for those who are in need of them. But I don't want people to tell me to use elevators. I want to burn my fat. I want to lose my calorie. So I often, almost 100%, refuse to use the elevator when I want to go to only one or two floors up. And people just couldn't understand why this helpless blind person refused to use elevator. I said, what the hell is it? It's none of your business. I want to burn my fat. Oh, it's better to use elevator. It's better to use the elevator.
Yeah.
See,
Okay, thank you.
how would you suggest to our blind brothers and sisters to gently refuse good intention?
Yeah. Thank you.
And for fundraising and public relation to our dear friend from Japan, how do you fundraise without selling, wholesaling the stereotype of blind people, that they are so incapable and they need a lot of help? So we want to sell, we want to do fundraising. How do we promote positive idea, positive image of blind people without losing fundraising opportunity? So two of them. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Senator Martian. Chan Yao, you got
okay.
to answer your friend's question.
Thank you, Montan. Yeah, I haven't touched you for a while, so I don't know how much weight you need to get rid of. But yes, of course, blind people have the right to choose. I think the more important thing is when you are walking in the streets, some sighted people say, I want to lead you. They said, no, I don't need it. Then he said, no, of course you need it. I'm also walking in that direction. So they need to offer help. It's not us who need help sometimes. So yeah, you can quietly say, I need to walk quietly. I need to think. I need to reflect. I want to be alone. I think it's a challenge, but sometimes you meet very difficult people. I have an experience of people following me after I refused them to guide me. And then I walked past a turn. Then he said, yeah, I already told you I want to help you, Now you made a mistake. But we have the right to make a mistake, right? You walk on the street, sighted or not, You make a mistake, okay? And another difficulty, more to my point than elevator, is this guided path. I know guided path is some of my brothers and sisters who advocated for it. I'm not a big fan of guided path because nowadays they make a guided path in a corridor of 3 feet wide, and then as if you cannot walk straight. Why can't blind person walk straight? Then the pedestrians say, this is your path, They force you to walk on the guided path, but I want to walk on a path that I choose. I don't need guided path so often. From time to time, I may need it, but I may not need it. So you have the right to choose. And it is more a challenge. So I don't have a lot of experience, but we feel so should be followed with a sense of education, with a sense, some blind people refuse people with a sense of hostility. So I advise against it. When you when you do any interaction on the streets, it's your opportunity to educate, not opportunity to fight. So don't keep a fighting spirit in the streets. Keep an educating spirit there.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think there are 2 questions on the floor. So I just, since we have limited time, maybe I can just close the question. So let Miss Ito answer first, and then I will let just only 2 remaining questions. Okay. Thank you, Miss Ito. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think what you need, what the most important thing for fundraising is a passion to change society. And all the people who are attending this conference has a real strong passion to change the world, right? And today I listened to the panelists, both panelists' speeches. It was really touching, and I really wanted to help the blind people. That it's not a charity or it's not pity. It's their passion that moves me. And if you really tell your strong will and tell the story to the sighted people, they will understand and they will feel something, and they want to change together with you the world, the society. And that's the most important thing, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And Shanya, you want to add more?
Okay, thank you so much. This is Yan from...
Please, Yan, can you, Mr. Shanya want to add something?
I want to add one example to fundraising with a positive image of blind people. About 30 years ago, it was Orbis, I made the name. They advertised that losing sight is losing everything. So this is a prevention of blindness community. They like to advertise blindness as the most tragic thing in life, so they can raise funds, okay? So we at the Hong Kong Blind Union pay for a newspaper advertisement to say, losing sight does not mean losing everything. We absolutely oppose to Orbis for using blindness as a pity to raise funds for their programs. Although we support prevention of blindness program, we don't support pitying blind persons for that purpose. Yeah, I still remember I don't want to name the service organization, but this is obvious. There was an executive director who said to the government, we need our mobility program to train the blind. Because, you see, one time I see a blind person standing on top of a staircase. He was so helpless. I said, no, we will oppose you getting the fund if you believe blind persons are so helpless. And therefore, you need to train them. Because he may be looking for the staircase in their own method. Mobility training is just a method. A method can be developed by anybody in any different manners. And professional training is good, but you don't need to sacrifice the positive image of blind people in order to get funding. So these are 2 examples for you to remember. Okay. Don't let yourself be victims. You can always come out and say, we are not the victims. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so Mr. Yang, can you please keep your question brief?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Apple, for this opportunity. This is Yan from Indonesia. I have 3 questions actually, but because this is these are the questions from the developing countries, so I need to be having allocated extra time to answer these 3 questions. First question will be going to Mrs. Speaker from Japan. You said you are going to present the way of having fundraising in our organization. But I would like, before that, you give me some perspective of how to create chances of making fundraising, or maybe like how to change barriers to be chances. Because, you know, fundraising is the most important thing in our organization. And this is the most difficult in my organization, in our organizations in Indonesia. That's the first. The second question will be going to Mr. Speaker from Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. You said about how to express sympathy, how to express our sympathy to our audience or our relations, and also how to value ourselves. So I do need your brief explanation how to value ourselves, or let me say myself, as a leader in organization of the developing country. And the third question goes to Mr. Speaker from New Zealand. How to create or how to make like planning, controlling and delegating in our organization, because this is not really implemented well in our organization, Indonesian Blind Union in Indonesia, and I really need to go back to Indonesia to bring this kind of capital from you or knowledge from you about how to implement planning, controlling, and maybe evaluating as well, and delegating in our organization. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yan. So you seem to have 3 big questions. Okay, that can be answered in the workshop. So maybe can I have the last question from the floor?
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ming from Hong Kong. So I want to raise out, public education is very important for the community. So as the last second, gentleman said that, people have forced him to use the alligator, but he doesn't want to, right? But, education is important that, blind people, to tell them that blind people can walk to the staircase with this cane and all that. And we are facing some of issues from time to time, We always heard people, visually impaired friends, telling us that, they are rejected by using services like bank services, like going to a restaurant by using a guide dog or something like it. So I want to ask people from Japan and from New Zealand, and how to do educations like for the community to raise up about the human right of visually impaired people. And I'm so appreciate Japan that everywhere have Braille. Even we don't understand the Japanese, but it's so nice that everywhere the lift, the bathroom also have the Braille as well. Everything. So how to make this happen, and how to educate blind people also need to have opportunity to do things and all that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Like to get more expression and opinions, right? So, but unfortunately, because the three or four questions require time to answer, it seems like that. So, how about I just ask the three speakers, just 1 or 2 minutes, very quick, because now our time is up, and just to maybe they can just answer these questions into the following workshops, okay? And can you please I will just give you like 1 minute to sell your session to our others. Who will go first then? Okay. Chang Yao, please.
Okay, thank you. Yes, in my workshop, I will be talking more about how a blind person can be a leader in a sighted work environment and in the sighted community. So I have worked in international organizations such as Oxfam, which is an international aid organization. And also I have set up an environmental organization on climate change. So while leading the blind community to fight for our rights, I also spend most of my professional career in a sighted work environment. So I want to share with you how that can be done and what are the leadership qualities we need in the blindness movement going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Miss Mio? Yeah,
Yes,
1 minute.
I explained.
Oh, you already said, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
then. Okay, you. Okay, skip to Mr. Latau. Yes.
Okay, I'll have another chance to sell my
Yes, please.
afternoon session,
Yes, actually, it's for following this session at starting at 11 o'clock. Yes.
11 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have a fantastic moderator. Thomas Bryan, who's going to be moderating. It will be on community outreach. I will share my experience in the Pacific, but I want to also learn from you what your community outreach experience is and has been. So we combine our shared knowledge together because I want to learn from you just as much as you might want to hear from me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for all of the three speakers who were experienced for a long time. And now I think you will get some of the introductory session that for each topic, right? We have leadership and also community outreach and fundraising to be helpful to your organization. Now, please decide which room that you want to go, and please give them a round of applause for today's very informative one. Okay, thank you so much, and now thank you everyone.
And you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
ขอบคุณมากครับ ขอบพระคุณทางบนเวทีด้วยนะครับดร.นันทนุช สุวรรณวุฒิและวิทยากรทุกท่านนะครับกับการอภิปรายเป็นคณะที่ผ่านมาเรียบร้อยแล้วนะครับก่อนเบรกผมขออนุญาตที่จะประชาสัมพันธ์ห้องย่อยให้ได้ทราบกันนิดนึงนะครับมี3ห้องช่วง 11 นาฬิกาหลังเบรกแล้วเราก็จะเข้าไปประจำ3ห้องเลยมีห้องไหนบ้างนะครับเริ่มจาก
ห้องดวงแก้วโอเค
ห้องประชุมดวงแก้วนะครับห้องแรกคือห้องประชุมดวงแก้วเนี่ยก็จะเป็นหัวข้อเรื่องการเข้าถึงแหล่งทรัพยากรครับ
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Apple, and we are going to break now. And after break, at 11 o'clock, we're going to separate into 3 rooms, and there will be 3 rooms, 3 workshops. The first room is access to resources, which is a fundraising in Dong Kiao room.
ครับส่วนห้องที่2นะครับก็คือห้องประชุมดวงมณีห้องประชุมดวงมณีนี้จะเป็นเรื่องของการเข้าถึงชุมชนครับ
And the second room is community outreach, which will be in the Duangmani room. Yes.
ครับห้องสุดท้ายคือห้องนี้นะครับห้องดวงชนกก็จะเป็นเรื่องของ ความเป็นผู้นำนะฮะความเป็นผู้นำจะอยู่ในห้องนี้นะครับมีทั้งหมด3ห้องด้วยกันครับ
And last but not least the leadership will be in this room Duang Chnok room so there will be altogether 3 rooms
เบรกกันครึ่งชั่วโมงนะครับแล้วก็จะกลับเข้าในห้องเลยนะครับเข้าในห้องย่อยที่ท่านสนใจครับ
So 30 minutes break and after the break you can just go directly to the room that you are interested in and once you are already in the room please scan the QR code in each room that you attend นะคะสำหรับคนไทยนะคะถ้าเราเข้าห้องไหนก็สามารถที่จะสแกน QR code นะคะแต่ในแต่ละห้องที่เราเข้าร่วมได้เลยค่ะแล้วก็เรามีตัว exhibition นะคะนิทรรศการข้างนอกนะคะวันนี้นะคะลองไปเที่ยวชมแวะเยี่ยมชมบูธนะคะจับจ่ายซื้อของที่ระลึกของฝากนะคะกันได้นะคะแล้วก็มีการจับฉลากด้วยนะคะมีนวดฝ่าเท้านะคะนวดคอบ่าไหล่นะคะมีมาจากหลากหลาย